All right, let's just jump right in. We're about to connect two worlds that, feel like they're on totally opposite sides of the universe. On one hand, you've got the passionate, human cry of a social protest, and on the other, the cold, calculated logic of cybersecurity. But we're going to see how both are, deep down, really about the same thing: systems under intense pressure.
So what does a protest song have in common with a secure computer? I mean, it sounds like a riddle, right? What on earth could possibly link a revolutionary anthem with the operating system running on your laptop? Just think about it for a second. The answer, it turns out, is pretty fascinating. And it's all about how they both establish a version of order and how they resist any challenge to it.
Okay, so let's break this down. At their very core, both societies and computer systems are designed with a specific order in mind. But, and this is the key, that order is never static. Not at all. It's constantly being tested, constantly in flux, with forces always trying to disrupt it, change it, or, well, take it over completely.
So for this explainer, we're going to look at this whole thing through two parallel case studies. On the social side, we've got protest music, this incredibly powerful tool for resisting state power. You see it in movements like Black Lives Matter and End SARS. And then on the technical side, you have an administrator hardening a computer to resist really sophisticated cyber threats. It's kind of like two worlds, but one struggle.
So where do you even begin? Well, every strong system, it doesn't matter if it's social or digital, has to start from a solid foundation. You can think of it as a baseline of trust. Because really, before you can defend against anything, you have to be able to trust your starting point. It's fundamental.
For social movements, this foundation is what you might call a cultural root of trust. And this quote just captures it perfectly. The source material points out that artists in movements like Black Lives Matter are intentionally drawing on this incredibly deep, historical lineage of resistance. So a new song isn't just a song. No, it's like the next verse in a centuries-long anthem. And that gives it instant legitimacy and a whole lot of power.
Okay, now check out the parallel in the tech world because this is wild. A secure computer needs a hardware root of trust. It's why Windows 11, for example, requires something called a TPM 2.0 chip. That stands for Trusted Platform Module. The best way to think of it is like a tiny, tamper-proof vault that's physically soldered right onto the motherboard. It's a physical guarantee of the computer's integrity from the very first spark of electricity. Kind of like how that deep cultural history grounds a protest movement. See the connection?
But here's the thing. Establishing that baseline, it's not so straightforward. Why? Because trust and security can mean totally different things depending on who you ask. Just look at this. It's like a fascinating tug of war between different authorities. You've got Microsoft, right? And they're all about stability. Then you have CIS, the Center for Internet Security, and their focus is on broad defense. And then you have the NSA, the National Security Agency. Their baseline is designed to fight off nation-state threats, which is unbelievably secure, but it might make your computer a real pain to use. Every single one represents a different set of priorities, and, you guessed it, trade-offs.
All right, so the foundation is set. The baseline is there. Now what happens when the pressure is actually applied? This, my friends, is where it gets really, really interesting. Because both sides deploy these incredibly sophisticated, multi-layered strategies to either challenge the system or, defend it.
So in a social movement, this strategy can look something like the protest music cycle. Take a song like Kendrick Lamar's All Right. It gets released. Then bam, it spreads like wildfire across digital channels. Next thing you know, protesters are chanting it in the streets, giving it this raw physical power. And that gets amplified globally by the media. It's this reinforcing loop, a layered strategy for getting people moving.
And that cycle? It's a brilliant mirror of the cybersecurity strategy called defense in depth. Look, a secure system is never just one wall. It's a fortress with layer after layer of defense. It starts at the bottom with hardware integrity. Yep, that TPM chip we talked about. Then you have virtualization, which creates a secure, isolated space for the computer's most critical functions, almost like a digital safe room. After that, application control acts like a super strict bouncer, deciding exactly which programs get to run. And finally, attack surface reduction is all about minimizing the number of doors and windows an attacker could even try to get through. Every layer protects the one inside it.
So for both of these systems, the digital world has really become the primary battleground. It's the arena where this all plays out. For activists, platforms like TikTok and YouTube are just unbelievable tools for amplification. But for a security admin, that exact same connectivity, well, that's the attack surface. It's a landscape of potential vulnerabilities. Their whole job is to meticulously lock down that surface, disabling old protocols that attackers just love to exploit. So that connectivity, it's both a megaphone and a massive weak point.
And the really crucial part is how specific tactics get deployed in this arena. I mean, think about Nigeria's End SARS movement, when DJ Switch famously used a live stream to expose a violent crackdown in real time. That's a tactic. On the cyber side, you have a defense like Credential Guard, which isolates your passwords to completely neutralize tools like Mimikatz, a notorious hacking tool that's designed to literally steal credentials right out of a computer's memory. Both are these incredibly precise, tactical moves in a much, much larger conflict.
Okay, this all brings us to a final, really powerful idea, the paradox of change. Because it turns out that every single system of attack or defense, I don't care how sophisticated it is, eventually runs into fundamental limits and these unavoidable trade-offs.
Just like this quote from our source material points out, protest music, for all of its incredible power, has limits. I mean, it is absolutely unmatched at building a collective identity and mobilizing thousands of people, at creating these moments of just unbelievable symbolic power. But a song, on its own, doesn't rewrite legislation. It's a powerful catalyst, for sure, but it's not the entire chemical reaction.
And we see the exact same paradox over in cybersecurity. You can absolutely harden a computer to the point where it's virtually impenetrable. But in doing that, you create what's known as high operational friction. The system becomes clunky, it's difficult to use, maybe legitimate software gets blocked, and your users get super frustrated. The lesson is the same in both worlds. Perfect resistance or perfect security always comes at a cost. So that leaves us with this final question to chew on. As our world gets more and more complex and our social and technical systems become completely entangled, are the rules for breaking a system and the rules for protecting one actually becoming the same? Are we finding that the fundamental principles of resistance and control are starting to perfectly mirror each other? It's definitely something to think about. Thanks for joining me for this one.